The product of a mistress, Meghan McCain, and polished Meghan McCain, aka Sarah Haynes, is wrong in this video. Let's talk about it. Hi, welcome to JOA. If you're new to my channel, please click that subscribe. Click the subscribe and click that bell so you'll be the first to know when I upload. I'd really appreciate if you subscribe and click the bell. That really helps on my channel. Please share the video with your friends. Please give me a thumbs up. Please also do support on patreon.com/JOA. I'm going to only start doing personal live streams on Patreon. For those of you guys that watch my live stream, you know what I'm talking about, just getting personal with you guys. Last time I talked about like weight loss, and so it's only going to be on my patreon.com/JOA from now on. I think it's only fair for the people that pay $5 or more a month. You know, so if you're interested and you love those live streams that I've done for you on my YouTube channel, please do go to patreon.com/JOA so you won't miss the ones that's going to be on Patreon from now on. All right. So from now on, meaning no more on this YouTube channel, you know, personal. I mean, I may do subject live streams, but I'm not going to be doing no like personal stuff, what I did before. So watch this clip and I'll come back with some more.
A lot on this show over the past year about, police reform, sensitivity training. Again, as I said last week on the show, in the past year since George Floyd, we've all done, a complete soul searching and reassessment of, what needs to take place in clearly a system that has a lot of very dangerous flaws and a lot of really serious political ramifications, societal ramifications, and then actual life ramifications. All of that being said, if you're a police officer, your whole job and your whole life is to put your life on the line and go into situations that all of us flee from. And they are paid, by the way, probably the amount that we spend on this show in hair and makeup in a week. So I know many people in law enforcement, and no one that I know is happy about what has gone on. If anything, they want to help reform. They are proud of what they do. They want to go forward. And we don't think about the families of police officers. So the idea that if you're an LGBTQ plus police officer, that the subtext of this is that you should feel shame to be a police officer while going to an event that is celebrating pride. That to me that's like a complete disassociation from things. You can't ask someone to choose between these two things. And if we're going down this slippery slope, what's next? Are we not going to be allowed, people in the military to wear their uniform at pride events? It took a really long time from a lot of advocates, including people like my brother, who were fighting in wars alongside members of LGBTQ people in uniform, for them to get Don't Ask, Don't Tell repealed. I think this is a very slippery slope, and don't ask people to choose the buckets of what they're allowed to take pride in. I think it's ridiculous, and I think it's counterproductive, and I think movements have to take allies where they can find them. And quite frankly, I agree with Sarah. I just think this is, when you hate something so much, you become what you hate. I think this is a classic example of that.
So I highly disagree with Meghan McCain. Of course, I think that the Pride Month, Pride parades, and these parading that's going on in different areas of the world, they have every right to say, no, we don't need police officers ever. You know, people of color, black people are not only the ones that are discriminated against with police officers. They're not the only one that have a lack of trust with the police officers community. Discrimination and harassment, according to a Williams Institute law by the UCLA, says by law enforcement is an ongoing and pervasive problem for LGBT people. Those experiences make it difficult for officers to effectively police in their communities. Governments and law enforcement departments can adopt laws and policies to improve relationships between law enforcement and LGBT citizens. You know, this is a protest, and we as humans have a right to protest. And I think this is a great way to get the message out during Pride Month for police officers, for police departments in every single community to fall in line and to respect the people that they serve, in which they get paid for. You know, so here are some key findings that I was reading from a 2015 UCLA law enforcement form, and it says 9.5 million LGBT Americans are a part of every local and state community and part of the diverse communities that law enforcement seek to engage to develop stronger community support and trust. The U.S. has had a significant history of mistreatment of LGBT people by law enforcement, including profiling, entrapment, discrimination, and harassment by the officers. Victimizations that often was ignored by law enforcement, and discrimination and even blanket inclusions from being hired by law enforcement agencies. The Department of Justice recently summarized this history of discrimination against LGBT people in its brief to the U.S. Supreme Court in Windsor versus the United States. Discrimination and harassment by law enforcement based on sexual orientation and gender identity continues to be pervasive throughout the USA. For example, a 2014 report on a national survey of LGBT people and people living with HIV found that 73% of respondents had face-to-face contact with the police in the past 5 years. Of those respondents, 21% reported encountering hostile attitudes from officers, 14% reported verbal assault by the police, 3% reported sexual harassment, and 2% reported physical assault at the hands of law enforcement officers. Police abuse, neglect, and misconduct were consistently reported at higher frequencies by respondents of color and transgender and gender nonconforming respondents. Now, that's probably only a fifth, like 20% of what I read to you that's been going on here in society. But like I said, I feel like this is a great way to get the messaging out that people in uniform are not to be inclusive in this event. And so it's just a message to send across to police departments that there needs to be a solution involved with going to police departments and making sure that everybody is treated equally, no matter their color, their creed, their sexual preference, whatever. I personally think this needs to be done in every state, in every country across the board that celebrates Pride, that's inclusive, that is safe for LGBT people to do Pride. And so, according to a CNN report last month, both in New York City Pride and the Center on Colfax, which organizes Denver Pride, announced they would no longer allow police officers to host exhibitions or participate in the parades while in uniform. While we value our relationships with law enforcement and want to continue to build a safer community for all Coloradians, we feel we must take a stand. Heritage of Pride, which organizes New York City Pride, echoed those sentiments in its May 15th statement, announcing that corrections and law enforcement exhibitors would be banned until 2025. So that's a great 4-year messaging, and I think every state, every country that celebrates Pride Month needs to have this intact so police departments could fall in line with doing their jobs, not just greatly towards the white race, even though the white race do have misrepresentations and mishandlings in the policing community, but also, this just sets a message to people of color, marginalized people, marginalized LGBTQIA people. And so I think this is a great thing across the board. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe and click that bell, baby. Click that bell, click that subscribe button so you'll be the first to know when I upload. Deuces. Yay.